Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a rock sling. I just discovered that I had a spare set of shoelaces that came with a pair of shoes I bought ages ago for work. So it looks like we're going to be making rock sling. This is the necessary components. You don't need these huge tin snips, you could probably just use your mum's scissors. I also don't really need this special hole punch here, which is specifically for leather. You could just use your scissors if you're desperate, but if you have a leather hole punch, some big old scary snips, this is going to work. You're also going to need some shoelaces, and we're going to need... Shoelaces are definitely the best, I think. Out of all the strings that I've tried, shoelaces just seem to really do the job. I'm going to need a leather apron. This is technically my grandfather's apron here. He won't be needing it anymore as he's no longer with us, and I inherited it. I feel kind of bad for snipping it up, but I don't really use aprons at the moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to snip out a section of leather very carefully. Just snip out a section of leather. We're going to make a long string. We don't want to make it too thin. We don't want to make it too fat. It really depends on what sort of stones you're going to want to be lobbing as to how long you're going to make it. I'm going to make this quite a long one here. I'm tempted to go the whole way, but I'm just going to snip it here, I think. I'm going to go ahead and snip it here. And now we're going to have a little, this tough leather. Now we're going to have a little piece of strip of leather here that we can go ahead and use for our rock sling. This is a very basic rock sling. I'm not sure, I might have to replace the leather with a thicker piece because it doesn't look like this is going to be very sturdy. This will be a small, low caliber. I'm going to fold it in two. Now in the middle here, we're going to just cut a slit up the middle. Now it's very important to cut this slit. The reason being, we need it to grip the stone from two different angles. So this leather here is going to split like this now that we've done this, and the stone, it sort of wraps around the stone. This isn't the perfect job I've done here, but it's alright. Now you can just take a big old pointy pair of sharp scissors that'll chop your fingers off and stick them through here, but I wouldn't advise that because it's pretty dangerous. But if you're feeling up to the task, you can go ahead and do it. But I'm just going to use this leather punch here. I'm going to go ahead and just punch a good old hole in the leather here. And we're going to do it on this side and also on this side. Try and get it in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, but the more centralized you get it, the better. Now we have a nice little hole. Got a nice little hole there. Now we're going to go ahead and take the shoelaces apart now. These are all tied up neatly. Now if you get a set of shoelaces, it's normally the perfect length, so we can just go in. I like to go from, we should probably be using the thick side because the tan side is going to be stronger against the rocks. It has less grip, but it is going to be stronger long term. We don't want to cut too close to the holes either, otherwise that's going to be bad later on. We can go ahead and punch it through this way. So we're going to want to get the tough side of leather. If it's double tanned, that's ideal, but this is only single side tanned. So we're only going to have one go at this. We're going to try and pull it through pretty evenly. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just go wrap around and then through. And then we're going to just try and pull the knot tight on the upside that you're trying to use, because I've made quite a few of these now. And if you do it wrong, it's going to be a pain. And then just to really make sure that you've actually gripped it, I like to do just a couple of granny knots, which is just where you sort of loop it around the string. And you know, everyone knows how to do a granny knot, right? You just go over here, go over, then you go through, and you just pull it tight. There we go, we get a nice little knot. And these shoelaces are really nice because the end's already been crimped off with a little plastic thing. If you use loose string, it can tangle quite frequently, and it's really annoying. You'll drive yourself bonkers doing that. You go around, and then under. This is actually a nylon knot. I shouldn't be using a nylon knot for shoelaces. We should be using some proper knots, but you don't really need proper knots, and I can't really be bothered explaining how to do proper knots. That's an excuse. The real reason is I can't do proper knots. If anyone knows how to do proper knots, direct me to the YouTube video that teaches me how to do proper knots. Around through here, I can do some basic ones, just some slip knots and whatever. Anyway, now we have a nice, stretchy, very long thing. Now this is going to be quite long, so when you're using it, you're going to have to sort of angle it around, but we're going to want to go ahead and, just because it's quite a low caliber of rock sling here, I think we can just do a small slip knot to grab your hands with. So if we just go around, we go ahead and take this end here, we just sort of wrap the string over and then around, and then we want to tie this little snaky guy here, we want to tie him to himself. So we go through here, we tie him to himself, not too tight or it's going to be hard to slip up and down. And then we just do it again, and that's just to secure it, and then maybe once more, just because we can, and no one's telling me not to. You go ahead and do this. Now we've actually, I might even just make this a whole hand grip. But you go ahead and the slip knot's adjustable, so it slides up and down, and you can adjust it to your custom hand size. If you're a really big buff dude with big chunky fingers, you might even go ahead and just do a 2-finger one, because that's going to give you more range on the rock sling. But it can be dangerous if you're using a bigger rock sling. Like if I had a big, thick, chunky leather piece like I did on the other one, as you can see here, I have a huge big cut, and that is rope burn. It just burnt into my finger and it just ripped my skin apart, and it's taken a few days and it's sort of healed up now, but it was quite painful for a while back there. Next we're just going to want to go ahead and stretch it out until it's even. We're going to want to put a knot in the end where we're going to grab it. So at this end here I like to just grab the rope where it seems to be even. We just try and tie a nice little knot in there. There we go. We might want to even try another couple of knots just up and down. Just little layers of knots, so there's lots of different levels of how hard you want to shoot it to choose from. We just go like this, try and space them evenly. I've got 3 levels here, I might put a 4th level, just in case. This isn't going to be an absolute pain to untie if I want to actually use these shoelaces. But now we should be done. I may as well give it a wee test. Actually no, I'm not going to give it a test. I'm not going to give it a test right now just because that would be very unwise. Indoors, I would smash a window or something. This thing is probably one of the most overpowered weapons in all of human history. You can chuck just about anything in them, so long as it's small. You could probably chuck these. Basically, you just pick it up and you whirl it around your head, and then you let go of this end of the string when it's on the full length of the arc, and it shoots bullets at the speed of bullets, quite literally. These things will punch holes in great helms. I don't know if you guys know what a great helm is, but it's basically a really thick steel helmet. This one of these will punch a dent, huge big dent in it, enough to give you a concussion and probably kill you. But you'd need bigger leather to, shoot a decent caliber. But this is a good little kiddies one. It's not really too dangerous. I mean, you could still kill someone with it, but probably if you're a beginner, you won't be accurate enough to do that. So that'll be fine. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Goodbye.